Welcome back, my Planet Coaster friends, to some more Planet Coaster 2 Let's Build. Just an FYI, this is technically part of our career mode / campaign. I know we're working on a Shore Thing tropical resort, and what we're going to be doing here is in the greater good of that park. We're going to be building this for our park, but we're also going to be accomplishing two other things at the same time. So, like I said, with every video that we do that's Let's Builds, Let's Play, we're trying to learn something and also set a goal for ourselves and achieve something. So the first thing, we announced a Planet Coaster 2 contest just yesterday in yesterday's video. So I want to start building something for that. So technically I will be competing in this contest for first time ever. Will I don't know how that's going to work. We'll figure it out when we get there. Maybe I'm just a participant, but I too would like to earn my legend rank, and I don't know who's going to give that to me. So maybe if the community votes for me, maybe that's how I get it. I don't really know, but I already built an epic water slide and didn't give myself legend yet. So maybe this one will get me there. But on top of that, we also got that recent update, the new patch 1.1 or whatever it was, that released a DLC at the same time. I was a little bit disappointed that we didn't get our Christmas pack. So for those of you who are unaware, in Planet Coaster 1, 8 years ago in 2016, the game launched in November, and then there was a free December update which brought Christmas stuff. But not only did it bring Christmas stuff, it brought some new shops and facilities, new decoration pieces, and along with those shops and facilities was one of our most beloved characters in all of Planet Coaster and in this community, Missy Goods, which is one of my favorite characters. We even named the female mod squad the Missy Goods mods at one point when we had like the hot dog squad and the Missy Goods. It was great. So I felt it was a good idea to remake my Missy Goods. So I don't know how I'm going to do this. I guess I'll bring like a picture up on screen. How do I want to do this? Yeah, I'll bring some images up on screen. I'll put them in the corners or something like that. And you guys can see what my reference is as well as my original. So I made this exact Missy Goods in Planet Coaster 1 7 or 8 years ago, right? And she was adorable. I was actually quite surprised. I was thinking like, I'll just copy the exact way I did it before. And then as I was doing it, I was like, wait, with the scaling and like the new tools and like everything, I'm able to make her like way more accurately. And when you put them side by side, the new one does look very Planet Coaster 2. It looks new and improved. It looks upgraded. It's absolutely amazing to see how much better she looks in Planet Coaster 2. So I was pretty happy with that. And basically what we're doing in this video today is we're doing 3 different blueprints. And I'm going to be providing you guys with the share codes in the description for all 3. So the first one is making Missy Goods herself. And she is scalable. She's very large, but you can scale her down. You can scale her to a medium area. As soon as you scale her too much, those certain things go a little wonky. But for the most part, like I was able to scale her down pretty small. And the only thing that really changes are these, the sprinkles on the donut. They get a little bit bigger. So for the most part, she scales quite nicely. And that's great. Means she's a little bit more versatile. So you can have your own Missy Goods to do whatever you wish with, do whatever you please. But then I decided to take it one step further and make the original OG Missy Goods sign. And normally it was like a 2D sign, and now we're making it 3D. It's going to be really, really cool. And that way you have like the Missy, you can use her as a centerpiece, you can use her as a statue, but if you want to make a Missy Goods build, I'm also providing you guys with a 3D Missy Goods sign. It's the OG original one. So now we can actually like recreate and make some Missy Goods stuff and, you know, include her in our shops, facilities, and different things like that. And then lastly, I made a bunch of donuts, and the donuts are all customizable. So what I did with them is I made sure all the sprinkles and all the dots, or like the little chocolate chunks and all that, they were on their own group, so you could just select the group and change the color. And then the icing's in its own group, as well as the dough. So you can basically change the color of the donut, and it's fully scalable. You can scale it down, although no point in scaling it super tiny, because there's actually like little donuts in the game. They're actually meant to be those pool floatables, right? So you can scale them down to be as small as the pool floatables, but it'll be like, you know, 40, 50 pieces when the pool floaty is one. So if you want like a mid-sized donut on your wall, if you want to make like a donut shop, if you want to make something like that, the donuts are going to come in super handy. So yeah, between Missy, the sign, and the donuts, that's 3 awesome blueprints that we built in today's video, with the share codes for all of them down below. So kind of just going over what I'm doing here today and talking about that stuff, as well as the contest, because I don't really have a lot of tips and guides for you guys in terms of basic shape art. It's just a lot of fiddling. But what you can see what I'm doing with her skirt there, with enough rotating and angling and resizing, I was able to make the skirt flare out a lot more. Whereas my original one, it was just kind of like a cylinder or a cone, and it didn't look that good. So the new tools definitely allowed me to make a much finer, better looking Missy. One thing that I was a little bit sad about was the little swirl came with the icing for the Christmas pack, and you would use it to decorate the walls with little swirls. And they were perfect swirls. And we don't have that I can't, at least if you guys know of a swirl, let me know down in the comments below. But I scoured through all the pieces, and I could not find a swirl. I used a question mark. It was the closest thing, but it's not a perfect swirl for her little hair bit. And you'll see that later, but other than that, like, yeah, maybe I can update it down the road if we get a better piece. But I think everything else is an improvement, other than the fact that I don't have the literal perfect swirl that just so happened to also come with the Christmas update for Planet Coaster 1. So, yeah, that's really cool. So why am I doing this, right? Let's talk about the why. I wanted to bring back Missy goods because, as I mentioned, Planet Coaster 1, we got this Christmas update, and I was just feeling a little sad that we didn't get a Christmas update in Planet Coaster 2. It's a bit of a bummer. So I just figured I'll make my own Christmas update. I'll share Christmas with the community by bringing Missy goods back into the game, right? So that's checking that box, you know? Bringing Missy back, that's great. But we might as well kill 2 birds with 1 stone and compete in the new contest that was just announced in yesterday's video. So with that being said, I want to kind of compete in the contest, which is a flume contest. So just so happens that my last blueprint was a tropical resort based around Queen Splash. And now it's basically going to be a tropical resort based around Missy goods. But I will say with the last one I made, my Queen Splash wasn't, like, the slides wasn't the focus. The centerpiece, Queen Splash, the tropical building with the tiki huts and all that stuff, that was the focus. I wanted to learn how to build with the resort stuff. This time, the focus is definitely going to be more on the slides. I want to make 5 of the most legendary slides, or hopefully legendary. Yeah, you can see me fiddling. There's no good swirl in this game, and I couldn't figure out how to make one. So I ended up just doing a half swirl. I'm pretty disappointed by that. But anyways, yeah, this one's going to be more focused around the slides. I want more epic slides, right? I want it to be a big project, and boy oh boy is it going to be epic. At the time of me recording this and me giving this voiceover, I think I have, I don't know, between this and the next one, like, I have like 8 hours of footage just for the next build alone, I think. And originally I was going to split it up into 2 videos, and then I thought, you know what, I'm not too happy about, like, showing you guys half a building, and then in the next video showing you guys a somewhat full building. It's just going a little bit slow. So for the next part, when we start making this epic Missy mall thing that I got that I'm doing. I'm just taking like 8 hours of footage and putting it all into one video. So please tune into that. Please watch it, because I literally spent a whole day on one video and the build is like not even a quarter done. So I can't be spending 8 to 10 hours on a video if I have to make 7 a week. So yeah, hopefully you guys tune into the next one, because it's going to be pretty epic. It's a lot of footage and I'm pretty excited about it. But the concept here is we're building Missy, we're making her sign, we're making her donuts, and those are the elements that we're going to be using for what will be basically like a tropical resort shopping mall, bigger and better than anything, like grander, bigger than life itself. It's going to be huge, right? That's the idea. And rather than going with the tropical tiki thatch stuff that we did with the Queen Splash build, this time I want to go for modern / retro and pure resort. Maybe I will have some like, you know, tropical vegetation, like some palm trees and stuff, that sort of thing. But I think for the most part, I'm going to try to stay away from anything tiki. Maybe I have like a small tiki hut, but even then I think it's not necessary, because I could still make a really cool modern hut. So, you know, tropical resort is really like two different themes, right? It's tropical and resort, and you can mix them together. So the last build we did was basically tropical, and now we're going to be moving into resort. And the two of them combined, you can make a tropical resort. It's going to be great. So the anytime I'm making a build, I want to create fun elements. As you saw with the last one, it was a bit of a smaller build, even though it was kind of big. If you guys thought my Queen Splash Resort was epic or big, you just wait until you see what we started doing with Missy. So you can see I scaled her down there quite nicely and easily. So she is resizable, which was great. But yeah, again, we started with her Queen Splash for the last one. We created her as our centerpiece. We wanted to make her sitting in a dinghy. That is our focal point. That is our element. And we created that first, and then we moved on to how do we make a tropical building. Same approach here, scaled up a ton. Because with the legend bracket, we're allowed to do 8,000 pieces. We're allowed to do a 2-piece blueprint, 2-part blueprint. So I have a lot more pieces to work with. And my last build was still only 1,200. And I think we're going to be, I mean, at the time we were recording and doing this talk over, I think I'm already at like 3,000 pieces. And I feel like it's only a quarter done, which means we could potentially go over that limit, and I might have to disqualify myself and put it as 3 parts. But I'm gonna try to keep it under. I want to try to get it all under 8,000 and abide by the same rules that I'm putting under for everybody else, and you know, that sort of thing. So I'm hoping I can pull it off. I think it's heavy on the piece count now because of all these things, like Missy goods, the donuts, the sign. They're made out of a lot of pieces, right? So that eats up a majority of them, which we're doing in this video. So I think the part count is going to slow down a little bit as we get everything in. And I'm just spamming walls, I'm spamming roofs, I'm doing all this crazy stuff. So the part count should hopefully slow down in the next one. So anyways, yeah, these are our elements, right? I wanted to recreate the original OG Missy Goods sign. And also create Missy goods, and also make some donuts. And that's my plankification. That's where my brain goes when I'm doing these kinds of things. Like, what is my anchor point, and how can I make it? Can I make it look good? And then how do we use that and incorporate it into a bigger, more epic build? And you can see these, her as a build herself, plus the sign. It's a big build. They're big elements. And again, the build that I have in my mind, it's going to be humongous, right? It's going to literally be like a shopping mall that's, I didn't even know how many stories I ended up with, but I think it's like 10 stories tall. And we're gonna have towers and, you know, gigantic, it's gonna be a skyscraper basically, and it's gonna have slides going down it, and it's gonna have slides going into it and through it. It's gonna have, we're gonna utilize those new glass pieces that we just got with the update, so we can have glass windows, and we want to incorporate pools. I had an idea to make a infinity edge pool on a rooftop, so I wanted to see if we could figure that out. I wanted to incorporate a lazy river that took you through the mall and around the build. I want to have this gigantic, larger-than-life shopping mall with a big, bold entrance, and that's why I need a gigantic sign like this. That's why I need a gigantic centerpiece version of Missy, and then we incorporate all of her colors, pink, or white and black, then all the pinks and browns. That's pretty much the 4 main colors that you have to work with Missy goods. So I want to make a gigantic white, black, and pink and brown shopping mall that's covered in slides, and it has slides going in it, around it, through it, you know, over it, all of that stuff. So it's going to be the biggest build I probably ever do in Planet. I mean, I say that, but like it's, yeah. I'll probably do bigger builds or park collabs and stuff like that in the future. But in terms of a blueprint, I think in the future I'm going to keep them under 4K. This specific rule allowing legends to go up to 8K for this contest. If I'm going to compete or at least participate, I think by going under 4,000 is setting myself up for failure. And going as big as I'm going in my mind and what I'm thinking of as such a great idea, I also take the risk of going over. If I overplan and overdesign and make too big of an area and it becomes like a literal freaking park, then I've overshot it. So it is a tricky balancing act to plan something so big, and then as you're getting closer and closer to blocking it out and filling it out, and you're looking at your part count and going, oh my god, I'm eating up these pieces quite quickly, it's hard to like redesign it and step back from there. It's hard to make cuts and it's hard to make adjustments, but 8,000 pieces is certainly a lot unless you're building rooftops shingle by shingle and that sort of thing. That's not the way I am in terms of building. I don't do these like meticulous little things where people, you know, build a 6,000 piece kitchen and do everything down to the ketchup pumps and cutlery on the counters. That's just not my thing. I'm not patient enough to sift through everything and go, how small can I scale this and how can I wedge it into something to look like something else? I definitely inspired by and respect people who do that, and I'm always wowed by their ability to do that. It's just not for me because I'm too impatient, way too impatient. But what I am good at, or what I think I'm good at, is, you know, coming up with a composition, color palette, an element that makes it stand out. In this case, it's Missy goods. It's our pink, black, brown, and white. That's our color palette. We have our big character. We have a big, grand, beautiful designed sign. Even though it's not my design, I recreated it and copied it like exactly. And I think that's even cooler than coming up with my own because it's like nostalgic and amazing. So I had, you know, we have a great sign. We have a great character. We have a great color palette. And I think those are all the different elements that if we can build a building, if we can build a shopping mall, if we can build a big structure and make it look good with interesting retro dynamic angles and shapes, then then we can just cover it with all these things and get decorating and adding slides to it, and it should come together as something pretty awesome that I hopefully think that could compete with the other, you know, masters and legends in this community. And that's kind of my goal, is to put myself up against the best and see how I do. And in fact, I've never ever done that in the history of Planet Coaster, and I don't know how it's going to work when we get there. We'll cross that bridge when we get there. But the reason I've never competed in contests is, A, it takes a lot of time to organize the contests. and then I get it going, people asking questions, and I'm keeping an eye on things, and then, it's a lot to manage, and it burns me out, and then I'm also making content on top of it. But it comes down to, like, if I compete, I think there was a coaster spotlight. I did back in the day, we used to do a coaster spotlight, coaster of the month, top 10 coasters of the month. And I competed in that with one of the coasters I made, and I won. So it made me, like, I don't know, maybe it was the best coaster of the month. Maybe it was. I also remember Galcian was in that same month, and I think I beat Galcian. Do I think I'm better than Galcian? No. Did I have a good month? Maybe. Was that one coaster that I competed with potentially better than the rest? Possibly. But I doubt it. I have this suspicion that there was a little bit of biasness and favoritism. People just voting for Johnny because they like me. I don't know. So when I saw that with the top 10 coasters, I kind of made the decision going forward with any future contests, I wouldn't compete. There had been times where I built like a shop or did something and I used it as a contest example, and it was what started the contest. But to build something as crazy as that ahead of time is quite challenging and takes a lot of planning. Whereas this, I have a month just like everybody else. Sure, I got a couple day head start, but I'm not going to be touching Planet Coaster for the next 7 days now. Because I got to go make 7 videos a week. So I get like maybe a day a week to play Planet Coaster. That's about it. And potentially less because I haven't been painting and doing Warhammer recently. I've been replacing Warhammer hobby with Planet Coaster, but now I have to get back to Warhammer because I just signed up for a tournament next month. Oh, so it's I'm a little bit swamped right now. So I'm just trying to like crank on this build, get it done so I can make something awesome, compete in the contest, bring Missy goods back to Planet Coaster 2 because we didn't get a Christmas update. So I'm trying to give everybody a little bit of a Christmas gift by doing this. And then last but not least, once we're done this crazy build, Tropical Missy Goods Resort Mall, we could bring it over to a Sure Thing, our campaign that we've been doing, and put it in there. And it's going to be massive. It's probably going to take up half of the area that we have left, or like we have half the area of the park, the map left to fill. It will probably take up half of that. Then we put down our Queen Splash, and we have just a little bit of room left for maybe a wooden coaster or some go-karts. And that should, in theory, complete a Sure Thing. But I would say it would make it so our campaign that we did is exceptionally well done. Like, so much custom stuff. Everything in that campaign is custom. Really, we really did a lot of building in that. So I think it's going to turn out really awesome. We've certainly taken our time with that campaign level in particular. And if we keep at this pace, we won't be done Planet Coaster campaign until 2030. But you know what? I'm okay with it because why rush it? We're having a good time. And in fact, I'd rather take my time and build something we're proud of than just say, hey, I beat all the, I placed a thing down, beat the objective, moved on to the next level, blah, 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 blah. I would rather much have something memorable. So, and if we can compete in contests and, do these little let's builds in between just to add a little bit of awesomeness to it, why not? Right? Why not have some fun with it? So you can see the sign there. It's absolutely incredible. And it's pretty much matching to my reference, and it matches the original sign perfectly. And wait till you see it on the next video when we put it on the building that we build. It looks astonishing. It looks really, really cool. And that Missy Good sign right there is on the workshop for you to download. Then I just ripped off everything, regrouped everything here. So the sprinkles are in their own group, the dots are in their own group, the dough's in its own group, and the icing's in its own group, which means when you download this donut, you can just select any group you want, change the colors, and it's that simple. And I even made a couple examples, although I think when you download this, it's just one donut that's customizable. But for the picture and the thumbnail, I wanted to make sure I made a few just to show some examples. But it's that easy. As you can see here, you grab a donut, you duplicate it, you change the colors. And that's it. And you can use these donuts for, you know, little... You can even incorporate Queen Splash sitting on a donut. You can have Queen Splash and Missy Goods now together. So it's pretty fun. There's 3 really cool builds in today's video. They're smaller, they're more, you know, basic shape, artsy, craftsy kind of builds. But hopefully I thought you guys would enjoy this. And I know it's not, you know, the typical Let's Play that you're used to, something a little bit more meticulous, but there's 3 awesome things that you guys can go download and play around with and use in your own builds now. These are really just there to make a build better. How can I use a donut? How can I use a Missy Goods character? Use these characters to make your own Missy Goods build. Use these donuts to make your own Missy Goods donut shop. I would love to see people submit a Missy Goods ride skin or shop to future Blueprint Spotlights. So please do that and like and subscribe. That's going to do it for this video, guys. Those are my 3 creations. In the next one, stay tuned. We're going to go build a freaking mall. Bye now.